Good evening, everybody. Hold on. Good evening. Welcome to day 3 of the Life Skills Week, presented by the Unidos Now Future Leaders Academy Barancik scholars. My name is Cynthia Elenstar. I'm the program director at Unidos Now, and I'm honored to welcome you to this online event for the entire family. This week, our scholars are delivering presentations on 10 different life skills. During their summer break, they have been working very hard doing research on life skills, and now they would like to share their findings and suggestions with you. Now, what are life skills? They are abilities and behaviors that help you deal effectively with events and challenges of everyday life. They are the skills that allow you to handle everything from interacting with others to identifying and processing your emotions. A few housekeeping rules before we get started. You're welcome to ask questions. Please use the chat box to type your questions, and we will answer them at the end of the presentation. If you need Spanish interpretation, click More on the lower right or upper right-hand corner of your screen. Then click Language Interpretation, then click Spanish, and mute original audio. Si requiere interpretación en español, por favor, haga clic en donde dice Más, en la esquina superior o inferior derecha de su pantalla. Luego haga clic en Interpretación de idiomas, y luego haga clic en Español y silenciar audio original. Without further ado, please meet the Future Leaders Academy Barancik scholars.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. We would like to take this first slide to thank Unidos Now and to celebrate the 10 years. And we would like to thank Charles and Marjorie Barancik Foundation.
Hello, my name is Maria Alonso, and I am a rising senior.
Hi, my name is Yuneidi Cervantes, and I am a rising senior.
Hi, my name is Gabriela Gonzalez, and I am a rising senior.
Hello, I'm Sebastian Martinez, and I am a rising senior.
Hi, my name is Senji Sabak, and I'm a rising junior.
And we will be presenting cultural competence.
So first, I will be providing a little background information of what exactly is cultural competence. It is the ability to communicate and interact with people across different cultures, also being aware of one's own worldview. So how do you develop cultural competence? First, you have to get to know your own community and also your own beliefs and cultural identity. It is important to understand yourself first before understanding other people. Why is it important? Without cultural competence, building those relationships with people would be almost impossible. We would coexist, but not understand each other, which can result in a higher risk of misunderstanding or hurting somebody's feelings.
So, who can be culturally competent? Anyone can be culturally competent. So now, how can you be culturally competent? Number 1, being aware of and accepting the fact that we are different as opposed to the same, especially here in the United States that we have a pretty diverse population. Number 2, being aware of one's biases and prejudices. Everyone has a different opinion, and the fact that you don't share the same opinion as other, that doesn't mean that the other person's opinion is wrong. Number 3, being aware of the cultural specificity from which theories and tests are taken. And I want to take a personal experience as an example. When I was in school and I was talking Spanish with my friends, I used to use these colloquial words that were pretty common in my country. But then for my friend, those words had a whole different meaning and they were like kind of bad words, so you have to be careful with that. Number 4, being aware of the cultural learning styles and the need to adapt one's teaching style to fit how students learn. And again, I want to take a personal experience as an example. When I moved here to this country, I had this learning style that I learned from my previous school. And then here I had to learn this new system, a new learning style, and it was kind of hard. So if you have the opportunity to help your friends, your family, or your classmate, or if you're a teacher, help your students through that process. Now, next we have cultural competence principles. Number 1, open attitude. You have to be open to learn about yourself and about others. Number 2, self-awareness. Again, learn about yourself, about your roots, where you came from, and your traditions. Number 3, awareness of others. As I said, we have a bunch of different types of cultures in the community, so you have to respect them. Number 4, cultural knowledge. Really get to know the different types of cultures, and if you meet a new person that has a different culture that you are not familiar with, you should ask them and really get to know this new culture. And number 5, cultural skills. Now that you know how to be culturally competent, then you can apply that to approach new people, establish conversations, and build new relationships. Next, please. What are the requirements to be culturally competent? Number 1, have a defined set of values and principles and demonstrate behaviors, attitudes, policies, and structures that allow you to work effectively cross-culturally. Number 2, have the capacity to value diversity, conduct self-assessment, manage the dynamics of difference, acquire and institutionalize cultural knowledge, and finally, incorporate the above in all aspects of policymaking, administration, practice, delivery service, and systematically involve consumers, key stakeholders, and communities.
So what careers are related to cultural competence? Workplace leaders, including employers, supervisors, and union representatives who are culturally competent, respect multicultural ways of knowing, seeing, and living. They celebrate the benefits of diversity and have an ability to understand and honor differences. We must understand that cultural competence is not static, and it will change depending on our experiences and relationships. There are 3 different levels of cultural competence. We have the individual level, which is the knowledge, skills, values, attitudes, and behaviors of individuals. Then we have the service level, which is the management and operational framework and practices, expectations, including policies, procedures, vision statements, and the voices of children, families, and the community. Then we have the broad system level, which is how services relate to and respect the rest of the community, agencies, elders, and local community protocols. But what careers are related? The answer is simple. All careers are related. Some careers require more cultural competence than others, like medicine, law enforcement, politics, and first responders. Are there different types of cultural competence? There are not different types of cultural competence, but there are different stages of cultural competence, known as the CROSS model, created by Terry Cross in 1988. The CROSS model consists of 6 stages. Number 1 being cultural destructiveness. In this stage, individuals view culture as a problem and they assume that one culture is superior and should eradicate lesser cultures. They believe that if culture or population can be suppressed or destroyed, people will be better off. Then we have cultural incapacity. Individuals in this phase lack cultural awareness and skills and may have been brought up in a homogeneous society, being thought to behave in certain ways and never question what they were taught. They believe in racial superiority of dominant groups and assume paternalistic postures towards others. They usually maintain stereotypes. 3, we have cultural blindness. Individuals in this stage see others in terms of their own culture and claim that all people are exactly alike. They believe that culture makes no difference. They usually state we are all the same, and believe that all people should be treated in the same way regardless of race, etc., which does not sound bad until individuals start ignoring others' cultures to satisfy their own points of view. It can lead to negligence. Number 4, we have cultural precompetence. Individuals in this phase recognize that there are cultural differences and start to educate themselves and others concerning these differences. They realize their shortcomings in interacting within a diverse environment, but they might be complacent with their own efforts. Number 5, we have the basic cultural competence. Individuals in this phase accept, appreciate, and accommodate cultural differences. They value diversity and accept and respect differences. They accept the influence of their own cultures in relationship to others and understand and manage the dynamics of different cultures when they intersect. They're willing to examine the components of cross-cultural interactions like communication and problem solving. And last but not least, we have advanced cultural competence. Individuals in this stage move beyond accepting, appreciating, and accommodating cultural differences, and being actively to educate less informed individuals about cultural differences, seek out knowledge about different cultures, develop skills to interact in diverse environments, and become allies within and feel comfortable interacting with multicultural settings. Is cultural competence being taught at schools? While cultural competence is often defined and perceived by schools as a celebration of important people, religion, traditions, and holidays, as well as an appreciation of the customs of different groups, it is also more than that. Culture is as much or as little as the everyday experience people's, events, smells, sounds, and habits or behaviors that characterize the students' and educators' life. Culture shapes a person's sense of who or she is and where he or she fits in the family, community, and society. To answer the question, no, cultural competence is not being taught at schools. Schools are currently embracing tolerance, and they're starting to understand that we live in an increasingly pluralistic society. But cultural competence isn't tolerance. It's not that easy. Cultural competence means first understanding, as educational leaders, that when educators come to school with a sense of who they are, and that unless they are reflective about their own identity and how it creates a lens through which they view the world, they will not be able to honor the identities of their students and faculty they serve. How does it affect our community? Well, a lack of cultural competence in a community can create racial and ethnic disparities in many areas, especially in healthcare. It can negatively affect a community daily life, and it can negatively affect individuals' mental health.
Does cultural competency have rules? Yes. As previously noted, you have to be able to understand your own cultural identity, have to have an open attitude and be aware and have a sense of respect towards other cultures. Many times throughout history, humans have shown that they aren't culturally competent. This was shown by either forcing their culture or beliefs onto individuals or punishing others for their own cultures. Does cultural competence affect your mental health? Yes. In terms of the victims of those who are culturally incompetent, they are commonly victims of bullying, verbal harassment and abuse, and depression. People who are not culturally competent could range from being advanced culturally competent and being culturally destructive. This can lead to a destructive way in meeting new people and cause a divide. The scope of mental health could include ethnicity, religious affiliation, gender, and disability. Can cultural competence help prevent current issues and situations occurring in the US? Yes. As of now, the majority of the United States is not culturally competent. It's hard for a lot of people to accept, but that is the first step into becoming culturally competent. This could be due to personal beliefs, family beliefs, and/or peers around you. Cultural competence could help fix and prevent issues in the United States and every issue that may arise in the future. With cultural competency, there would be a decrease of crimes fueled by racism, xenophobia, and discrimination in the US. Prejudice against specific groups of people, culture, or religion could cease to exist, and people could begin to coexist without issue. Can cultural competence make people more informed during these hard times that the world is experimenting with the pandemic? Once again, yes. People would not have to live in fear or have to worry about how they live. Information would be able to freely travel throughout communities, and people would be comfortable to seek medical help in the US without fearing prejudice on the basis of how they look or what religion they practice, etc.
In conclusion, what is the most important part of cultural competence? The most important part is to be aware of your own reactions or biased feelings towards a person or person's background or culture that may be different than your own. Is there something else we can do to be culturally competent? Some ideas that can help to be more culturally competent are having knowledge about your own culture, being open to learning about other cultures and interact with diverse groups, for example, clubs or organizations. And now we would like you to complete a quick survey. You can type the link or copy and paste the link in the chat. And if you have a phone or an iPad, you can scan the code right here.
Now we would like to present the Wheel of Culture. This wheel was meant to show people that culture is just more than the traditions and the people and the religion we practice. Culture is everything: the language, the techniques and skills, tools and objects, the arts, food and drinks, the values, the community, and the knowledge and stories people share within a community. Thank you for listening to us. That was our presentation. I hope you all have a great afternoon.
Wonderful. Wow, what a great job you've done talking about the importance of cultural competence, how it's important that we understand, appreciate, and interact with people that have a different culture or a different belief system than ours. So I really appreciate your information. Are there any questions in the audience? Looks like there are no questions, so those who can take the survey, please do. That will be great for the team. And now I would like to introduce you to the next team that will be talking about the importance of help seeking.
Hello. Hello. We are going to be talking to you all about the skill of help seeking or asking for help.
Hi, my name is Genesis Martinez. I am a rising senior.
Hi, my name is Maria Priscila, and I'm a rising sophomore.
Hi, my name is Diana Lizama, and I'm a rising junior.
Hello, everyone. My name is Axel Salas, and I'm a rising senior.
Hello, and I'm Andres Gutierrez Quintero, and I'm a rising senior. Now, let's start off by asking, what is asking for help? What is help seeking? It's an important social skill that enables people to know the following: when help is needed, the type of assistance required, how to access the help by effectively engaging others, and how to apply what they learn to solve their problems and complete tasks. Now this can apply to anyone. Here's a quote from President Barack Obama in 2009. "Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. I do that every day. Asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. It shows you have the courage to admit when you don't know something and to learn something new." Even people like the President of the United States ask for help sometimes. Not everyone can know anything. While we may know a lot, it is always good to ask others for help and to admit when you need help.
So one way to developing the skill is having self-awareness. Having self-awareness is to acknowledge that you need the help, and that is the first step of getting it. Now, once you do that, you'll decide to whatever or whom to ask for help, and do so clearly, and process the help that's given to you. Another way is knowing that it's used in both academic and social nature. What does that mean? Okay, so academic means like schooling, need help in school. And in social nature, it's in interacting with other people. For example, like at your work or like at a grocery store. That's how you do it. Well, one example I can give you that can be seen in both ways is a school counselor. So a school counselor can be there to support a student's academic progress or helping them plan for their future. But it can be shifted to helping them cope with their social emotions and difficulties that they're experiencing in their learning and lives. And lastly, is knowing the value of help seeking. Help seeking is actually part of the process of self-regulation, meaning that having self-regulation, you tend to see it differently. As a child, you tend to ask questions in the simpler term. As a teenager, you tend to have more complex as an adult as well. Getting the help you need is part of being responsible to yourself. Thank you.
Who to ask? Okay, this is a little more harder. So, knowing who to ask can be confusing or hard even, but follow these guidelines on who you should ask for help. All right, the first one says, someone you trust. Asking someone like a parent, a close friend, or even a close family member can help to find a solution to your problem, whatever it may be. It's scientifically proven that if you sit down and talk to your loved ones about your problem or issue, together you guys can come up with an idea of how you can solve your problem. All right, the next one says, someone who has greater experience. This can go different ways, depending on what your problem is and where your problem is located. This can go different ways. For example, if you have a problem with your schoolwork or homework or something like that, you can ask upper classmates that may have went through the similar issues you had gone. You can also ask your other classmates because they probably went through the same things and they probably have a solution to the problem you have. If it's at work, maybe ask your boss. Your boss probably knows a solution to your problem. Ask your coworkers. They probably know a solution as well. The thing here is that you can't expect yourself to solve that problem. You need it. If you need help, you need to get the help of others as well. And the last one states, someone professional in solving your problems of your type. You know, we're all human. We probably never can come up with the solutions on our own. And this one, as well as asking someone with greater experience, can have different solutions. For example, if you're having trouble with something at school, then depending on what you're having trouble with, you can direct yourself to that person. If you need help on math, get a math tutor. If you're having stress issues, go to your guidance counselor, and many other things like that. Now, if you're suffering emotionally, not school related, maybe you need to go to a psychologist. And if it's just something else, you need to do other research in order to find out what your issue is exactly. So I have a quote right there. It says, at this very moment, there are people only you can reach and differences only you can make. Whether it's you who has the issue or someone else who has the issue, you can make a difference in solving the problem you have. You have the power to solve your own issues if you decide to do it. If you don't decide to speak up about your problem, it may be dangerous as it can as you'll never find a solution to your problem. Thank you.
How to ask. It is important to learn how to ask for help So in those moments, you know what to do. The first step is it is important to show that you have already tried on your own. This is important because it shows to the person you're asking for help that you already tried and have thought of other solutions and couldn't come up with one and are asking them for help. Number 2 is to speak up. It is important to get to the point when you're asking for help and not be ashamed or embarrassed about it, and speak up for yourself when you need it. Number 3 is to be clear/specific. For someone to be able to help you, you have to be straightforward in what exactly you need help with, because humans cannot read your mind. Someone cannot know what exactly you're feeling or what you're thinking. Number 4, be positive. When I'm comfortable with asking for help, it can make it easier to be positive and not self-deprecating or negative. Number 5, be sincere. It's okay to be vulnerable with people. It lets them know that you're being honest and you generally need their help. Number 6, showing appreciation. After they have helped you or given you advice, it is important to tell them that you're grateful for their help and that their time was well spent, so they feel like they were glad to help you and will most likely help you in the future. This image I can very much relate to, because that's what it feels like most of the time. It starts just piling up, and it does feel better when you ask for help because it feels like a load is being taken off of you. In this image, it says it's okay to ask for help. Most people, they're not taught that it's okay to ask for help, or they grow up just by themselves and generally have to do things on their own. But it is okay to ask for help. Nobody's perfect and nobody knows everything.
Why should you ask for help? You should ask for help because there are so many resources in the community. There are many nonprofits that are always willing to help everyone. For example, Unidos Now. You become more knowledgeable. When you ask for information, again, you become more knowledgeable and you can help others. And after asking, you can help others. So it almost becomes like a train effect. One person helps the other helps the other. And in this picture, I have the open educational resources picture because it shows that there's always open hands willing to help. And always remember, never be afraid to ask for help.
Sorry about that. Before we finish this off, we're going to do a little quiz to see what you learned. Everyone, if you have a cellular device, go on to kahoot.it in your browser now and type the code that you'll see soon. You're free to participate if you wish. You don't have to put a real name. You just have to type in the code. Good. At least we all picked up what we learned from our presentation. You should always ask for help by showing your appreciation, being sincere and positive, and to be clear and specific. For all these things contribute into developing successful help-seeking skills. This one is especially important. Fear is one of the biggest things that holds people back. Fear of ridicule, fear of looking dumber in front of their peers, fear of not being able to be who they present themselves to be. You should never be afraid for ask for help because you're doing the bravest thing anyone can do, at knowing to admit when you're wrong and when you need help. Now, the reason why circle wasn't the answer is because it was a bit of a trick. It was a bit of a trick answer. It's both help-seeking, academic and social nature, while circle had neither. It's a little trick there I put. But it's important but regardless of that, it's important to be self-aware in when you're asking for help because it knows when you're wrong. And if you just ask for help because someone's pressuring you, you're not really helping yourself. Knowing that help seeking is both academic and social helps you feel that it's more natural to you. It's not something that should be suppressed or stigmatized. And that goes along with understanding the value of the skill. Last question. This last question covers who we can ask for help. There are many people you know in your lives who you can trust. It can be either a best friend, a sibling, a parent, a grandparent, aunt, uncle. It can be any relative or someone close to you in your life. But if those people aren't available, someone with experience can help you. They will be able to share their wisdom with you and what they know, helping you build off the knowledge off of what they've learned. And if it's a serious issue that you need confirmed information about, always ask a professional. Whether it's medical advice, psychological advice, many of these things that require actual information, always ask a professional. Congratulations to our winners of this Kahoot game. Thank you for watching. We'd like to thank those at the Charles and Marguerite Barancik Foundation and Unidos Now for making this all possible. Without them, we wouldn't be able to give this information to you and present in front of you all today. Thank you. Now, does anyone have any questions?
It looks there are no questions in the audience. So thank you very much for the amazing presentation. It's a topic that a lot of us maybe are not that comfortable, right, with. Asking for help is something that is hard for many of us, and we are taught that we have to be strong and that we have to do it on our own. And it's actually a sign of strength if we know how to ask for help, as you have all explained today. So thank you again, Janedi, Senji, Maria, Sebastian, Gabriela, Andres, Diana, Genesis, Axa, Maria Priscilla, for teaching us about cultural competence and asking for help. To the audience, please keep in mind that life skills take practice, development, and an understanding that there is always room for improvement. We hope that you had a good time, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. We're going to have presentations on interpersonal communication and decision making. Have a good evening, everybody. Bye-bye.